disability I have is called spinal muscular atrophy type 2. And it's a neuromuscular condition, so it weakens all the voluntary muscles in my body, all the ones attached to the skeleton that helps you move. So the larger muscles are more difficult for me to move than the smaller muscles. So I'm able to move my fingers just fine, but the shoulders and legs are difficult to move.
With physical disabilities, we see a lot of issues, even with new buildings like Edward St. John, that we don't make spaces always inviting. Ableism is the fact that we privilege able-bodied capacity over disability. We don't often see disability as even an identity category. We focus on that physical or mental aspect. So ableism is this conception that we can all do everything the same way, and that it's only valuable to do something in a certain way. And this actually comes in a lot of different forms. We see it at the individual level, the interpersonal ableism, where individuals perpetuate bias and prejudice. We see it at the structural level, where we don't build environments or don't create spaces for people with disabilities.
Certain places where like curb cuts are placed or streets that have to be crossed, and how busy and chaotic certain things can be. You know, if you're traveling through this campus using assistive devices such as wheelchairs or crutches or things like that, there are certain elements to the actual physical structure, meaning like the sidewalks and things, that can be somewhat unsafe for you.
One thing I want to change is for people to be more aware of not putting items right under handicapped or accessor. That makes it difficult for people in wheelchairs to get close enough to push the button.
I always bring up restrooms because at some point we all use the restrooms during the day. So most, if not all, of the restrooms do have accessible stalls within the actual restroom. But like, some of the doors are heavy. Some of the doors are lightweight. Some of them are heavy. Some of them are electronically operated. And so I just feel like the most accessible thing, in my opinion, for that would be for all of the restrooms to have some type of electronic operation.
Because there's a huge issue with people with disabilities being part of the post-secondary environment at all levels when compared to their able-bodied peers, we see that that's just not something we think is going to happen. We don't think we have disabled faculty. We don't think we have disabled graduate students, which we do. We don't think about these folks as part of our community, and therefore we don't intentionally create policies and practices that will enable them. So the University of Maryland has some really good initiatives. They do a lot of great events. The Office of Diversity and Inclusion does events. MICA does events. A lot of spaces are trying to make it part of the culture here, and that's how we're going to combat sort of the ableism that is really hard to get rid of.